Alright, for real this time, let's get into the topic of this video. I made a slideshow. Essentially, this is my top 10 list of every anime that I've watched. I'm not going to pretend like my opinions are 100% absolute. I've just watched what I've watched, and I've enjoyed what I enjoyed, and I kind of just broke it up into bullet points, and I'm going to go over them real quick. So, starting off with an honorable mention, Demon Slayer Season 4. I loved so much of what was going on here. The main thing that's like kind of holding it back is that it's not a full season, so it's like kind of short. I don't know if you want to hold that against it, but compared to every other anime on this list, I feel like it feels a little unfair, but then again, there was still a lot of great things. In particular, one thing I said is that the paper crane scene, which is the scene with Muichiro and Tanjiro, like, getting all the Demon Slayers together and then just like throwing paper cranes and shit, that was a great scene to symbolize how united everyone is together, because I feel like that wasn't expanded enough in the manga, so it's nice to see it here. Tengen got like his own anime original episode, which was like based off of like 2 panels in the manga, which was really good. 10. Konosuba Season 3. It's one of my first animes. I feel nostalgic whenever anything Konosuba related comes up, but I feel like the humor of Konosuba is starting to get a little bit repetitive for me, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. Although I will say, Darkness has always been my favorite character, and seeing that she was the main focus for a decent amount of the season was great. I don't know why, I just now remembered that Cosmo was acting very fucking weird about the lolly and like the little sister and shit. I did not really like that whole thing too much, but you know, we live. Over time, Konosuba isn't for me, but since it is one of my first animes, I have to pay it respects. Number 9, My Hero Academia Season 7. When it comes to longer animes, I tend to forget more details. My Hero, there are certain things where it's like, I feel like I should be remembering certain things in the past, but I don't. Also, Season 5 was pretty shit, so if there was anything story-related put into Season 7, I'm most likely not going to remember anything at all. Everything that went on involving One for All was amazing. Like, the sequence with him fighting Shigaraki, that was awesome. I love that. There was the United States girl and her fight versus Shigaraki. Such a strong start to everything in general. You know, I've seen some panels from My Hero, and honestly, it's kind of a shame that even now it doesn't feel like the anime is able to do it quite justice, but it's definitely an improvement compared to some of the shit that was going on in Season 6. Alright, yeah, Dabi had like that one fucking episode that went insane. I'm pretty sure like it broke a record for like the most amount of impact frames. Yeah, no, there was like there's a lot of good stuff, and it's exciting to see what the final season will come to. Windbreaker. So Windbreaker was like an anime that, like, when I first saw it, I didn't think I was gonna like it that much, since I'd never experimented with like the delinquent stories. My expectations were kind of surpassed because it ended up being really good anime. The opening, if you saw my Spotify Wrapped, the opening for Windbreaker was my second most listened to song on both YouTube and Spotify. So yeah, it's kind of a banger, not to be kind of cooked. The fight scenes for first arc like this were insane. Just back to back action. And honestly, it's like, it's hard to hate because like at the same time, it's such a simple premise but it's also just enjoyable, right? So my only real issue was that even though Windbreaker was consistently good, the last couple of episodes that were setting up for Season 2 were kind of boring, and I did kind of miss out. Like, I was like late to the episodes when I used to be on top of it. Other than that, if you're like looking for a seasonal anime to just watch, chill, and just like have a good time watching, Windbreaker is definitely like one of those shows you should give a shot. Maybe you'll like it, because Season 2 is I'm pretty sure there was like Season 2 announced for spring. But yeah. The leveling is kind of low, I would say, for like top 10, right? Although the fight scenes and like still leveling are great, I don't feel too attached to the characters. That's like one thing I can give to like Windbreaker, is that even though like the premise is like simpler, I was definitely more attached to the characters because they were like cooler. Whereas with Solo Leveling, it's more just Sung Chinu and his growth as a person, which is good and all. And I'm definitely excited for season 2. Yeah, Alex Lee killed it, because he's also voicing Gigi and Dandadan, and like the way that those characters are just so different. It's insane. The fight scenes, it says it right here that they're insanely well animated, but like genuinely, holy shit, bro. That like I don't even know how they're able to release Solo Leveling content like back-to-back years, because like this year is insane, and they're already going to have season 2 next season. I don't know how the hell they're pulling that off. Someone in that studio is like, oh, the animators are on fucking life support right now, probably. My family is mad that I said I didn't enjoy Solo Leveling. If you don't like Solo Leveling, I can understand it. Solo Leveling is one of those shows where it's more like, if you're more into like heavy story-driven plots, then Solo Leveling is going to be kind of hard, because it's mainly just like a guy getting stronger. Episode 6 being the exception. Holy shit, episode 6 was goated as fuck. I don't even know what to say. That like, the moment I saw episode 6 and like Sung Chinu murking everybody, I was locked in for like the rest of the season. But yeah, I'm interested to see where season 2 is gonna go. I've heard it's peak, so that's interesting. Mushoku Tensei season 2. Obviously, everything in Mushoku Tensei just looks beautiful. Like, for example, in the opening, when they were fighting like the three-headed snake thingy, there was like an insane amount of detail in like every single frame that wasn't even in the actual fight. So that was like an incredible amount of detail. Paul was like more expanded on in this season, and I think that the way his character was done was amazing for what it was, and expanded on Rudy as his character, and even like added a little deeper element to Rudy, which honestly Mushoku Tensei has always been consistent with. So there is one issue I kind of have with this season in particular, and it's more of like a personal thing. I was really excited when I saw that Sylphie and Rudy were like getting together, and all the words they exchanged with each other, talking about how even though it's possible to get married to multiple women, Rudy would only stick with Sylphie. It was like a really sweet interaction, and I felt like that entire section and build up for that scene was completely tarnished by the fact that Rudy ends up cheating on Sylphie with Roxy, his like mentor, someone that knew him when he was like fucking 3 years old. That was like very strange and off-putting for me. Number 5, Dandadan. The main thing that Dandadan has over most action battle anime that I've seen is that it has a slice of life aspect, but yeah, it works well. Okurun is pretty cool dude when he like transforms. There's been many like scenes where the animation has just been kind of insane. I would say like the best animated episode, or one of the best animated episodes, was probably episode 6 with like its cinematography. But even then, I'm going to say this right now, as much as episode 6 deserves its praise and for how well it's constructed, I don't think that it's as good as everyone's making it out to be compared to the rest of the seasons. Like, episode 6, like, some people are ready to call episode 6 of Dandadan, like, the best episode of anime this year, and I'm like, let's calm down. There were a lot of good episodes this year. I mean, fucking, I know I'm not including it on this list. Frieren, it didn't come out this year, but, like, even then, talking about that, if there are some people that are going to include it, and I'm just like, we're not going to talk about Frieren? Another thing, this is just a personal thing. I watched episode 11 of Dandadan. Gigi is kind of fucking annoying so far, not gonna lie with you. I hope that I end up liking him later down the line, because he plays an interesting dynamic between like Okurun and Momo, which, you know, getting to Okurun and Momo, holy shit, thank God there is finally like a battle anime with like good romance. I don't know why, but like every author and like shonen manga that even attempt to make romance just fail at it miserably. And like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reason why Momo and Okurun work so much is because the author went through the trouble of reading like 100 different shoujo manga. So yes, Dandadan is great. Number 4, Bleach. I'm gonna get the negative out of the way. I think that my biggest issue with Bleach as a series is that I don't think that there's a character in the show I feel attached to. I may not have an emotional connection to the characters of the show, but the abilities they have are pretty fucking cool. And when they're put together in a fight, it just works. It almost like doesn't even matter at that point, because it feels like I'm watching like literal peak. Like I said that it has like some of the best fights this year, not counting Frieren, because Frieren was just on another level of quality in terms of animation. But yeah, if you're not caught, if you're like a Bleach fan, you're literally eating. Like these last 3 years, I think it's been, have just been like amazing, because Taite Kubo is in the studio with the animators. He's like making creative decisions, making original like anime original content. So even if you have read Thousand Year Blood War manga, you're still gonna find something new in the anime, and it's always enjoyable. And it makes those 200-ish episodes of like, you know, OG shonen anime where it was like filler with like long strings of dialogue, the first 20 episodes, like it makes you feel like you've earned your right as a Bleach fan watching Thousand Year Blood War and putting up with like the more slower sections that normally push others away. So my top 3 are going to be anime that kind of make people roll their eyes a bit, because we're starting off with Ranma 1/2, and it's already like, Ranma 1/2, you're putting this over Bleach, Dandadan, Mushoku Tensei, Soul Leveling, Windbreak, okay, yeah, you're putting it over these anime, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love Ranma. Are you kidding me? Like, I know I wrote here that it has like, it could be recency bias, but like at the same time, I could say the same thing for Bleach, but I still love Ranma 1/2, bro. Like, I'm a slice of life guy. I love my romance. So seeing something like this, where it's just like goofy things, and I should probably let you guys know this too, Psyche K is one of my favorite animes. So whenever I watch Ranma 1/2, it almost makes me feel like I'm like reliving all the memories of like when I first watched Psyche K, because there's just like a bunch of things that go on where you're just like, oh my god, this is insane. So one thing that you have to note is that this is made by MAPPA. Like, this is a remastered of an old like 80s anime. So because of that, they've like redone a lot of things. They've made the pacing faster, and they've made the action scenes better. And so because of that, it's been kind of like debated on if whether or not this is better than the original, because there are some characters that have had their characters very simplified, or like their personalities very simplified. And for OG fans, that's kind of off-putting, because the original anime went through the trouble of fleshing out everything that the remaster may just skim over it. As someone who's only watched the remake, I love it so far, and like maybe I'll watch the original and my opinion will be there, but for what we have so far, I do genuinely love this. Episode 8 was incredible. Like, there was this one scene with Rama and Akane, and they were doing some stuff. I think that the idea that Rama can switch between a male and a female, and it's not something that he's okay with, I feel like that leads to a lot of interesting themes that could be expanded on, and is a pretty interesting topic to go into for a manga that came out like 40 years ago. No, I don't know. I think it was like late 80s. So yeah. Number 2, The Dangers in My Heart. So I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. When I first went into The Dangers of My Heart, I had heard that it was like one of the best romances ever made, and I didn't believe it. I didn't think that like this character with such an edgy hairstyle could actually like be a good character. I don't know why. So season 1, or no, it was more like the way he spoke in the trailers that was off-putting when the first season came out. So I avoided this anime. When I actually decided to sit down and give this anime a shot, I was genuinely caught off guard by how much I loved it, because my favorite anime is Love is War, and when I first watched it, I binged it within like 2 days. And as time goes on and you watch a lot of animes, it's harder to sit down and like fully enjoy them. Like, you kind of go at a slower pace, right? But with The Dangers in My Heart, the moment I laid my eyes on that like first episode, I was like, hold up. this might just be fire. And then I got up to like episode 2, then episode 4 out of nowhere, and then 6, and it just got better and better. And somehow I binged the entire 2 seasons in 2 days, which I haven't done since like Love is War. I can't think of like the last time where I binged the romance that insanely fast. That already goes to show how like captivating each episode is, with how much the main character slowly grows as a person, and his connection with the main girl, the way that they just slowly just build a connection with each other. It's so enticing. And if you love romance anime, you need to watch The Dangers in My Heart. I promise you, if you get past like the first 3 episodes, you're in for a ride. There's like a Baki reference in here at some point, and the manga is not stopping either. The anime got a little spicy with its newest chapter. The Dangers in My Heart solidified its place as one of my favorite romances and my favorite animes of all time, and is easily one of my favorites, and only lost to what is my favorite anime of all time. I think that no one is surprised by this, because I glaze this show to hell and back, and season 2 is the exact reason I do it. Now, I'll be honest. Season 1 of Oshinoko, I've decided that I want to be more open-minded. So I started watching videos of people who weren't a fan of Season 1. And their main issue was that there was like a lack of focus within the actual main plot. And I could understand where that's going, because Season 1 sets up such a high, like a different expectation than what you get in the show. For me, since I was a Love is War fan, I knew what I was getting into. So I didn't mind any of it, but I could understand that in season 1 there was like a mix of, oh, this episode was great, but then this feels like it's nothing, with like the peon dance. Personally, I love the peon dance, but not everyone's gonna fucking love all these random ass moments where these characters are just doing jack shit. But then season 2 arrives, and oh my god, they went insane. I remember reading Tokyo Blade for the first time and thinking, how are they going to adapt this? Right? Because one thing that you need to note is that there is an Oshinoko channel, and they usually go in depth with like how they animate the seasons for like specific episodes. Episode 6 was one of those episodes where it was like Narushima going crazy, and you can tell that the passion behind every episode, the animators genuinely love Oshinoko, and it just shows with like how Narushima got a whole minute of original animation and how much care was put into each thing. And I think that love plays so well with the theme of Tokyo Blade, where manga artists talk about how much they love their works and how that's incorporated into the play, and the passion that goes behind bringing this thing to life. It almost accommodates so well with what the animators are trying to do. And I think with all of that, the Tokyo Blade arc has genuinely become one of my favorite animated arcs that I've watched in anime. And oh my god, as an Aqua Glazer, episode 8 was absolutely insane. After the Tokyo Blade arc taking you on like this crazy ride, the drama starts to like go crazy, and it's going to continue to go crazy in season 3. I hope you guys know that. It is going to continuously be crazy. And one of my favorite scenes from the manga was Hikaru murking somebody at the edge of a cliff, and I always thought, I need to see that shit animated. I need to see the voice actor and how he interprets this character, and I was not disappointed at all. Yeah, no, honestly, every character was well expanded on in this arc too. Like it made everything in season 1 matter for like season 2, and like all the build up. So yes, Tokyo Blade is awesome. It's peak. Watch Oshinoko.